Thanks for joining us today for BRMC's Healthy Connections with special guest Stephen Dunn from BRMC's Home Health. Stephen, tell us what's going on in home health these days.
We are very busy right now. This time of year is one of the busiest times of the year for us.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people lately have been getting new knees, new hips, and everything, and we're just kind of patching those up lately. It seems like a lot of those.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
One of the things though that we wanted to kind of bring out, especially this time of year, for family members that maybe come in from out of town to spend some time with mom and dad, as they get older in age, you need to start looking for maybe changes that you can see happening, and it could be different. I mean, things like having a problem forgetting things, maybe like where you parked your car in Walmart. I have that problem myself.
I was going to say, that's why they have that beep, beep, beep thing, and I just hit that and find my car.
Yeah, but things like that, and then also while you're in the home, look for things that could prevent falls.
That'd be a great thing, right?
Yeah, a lot of the injuries we treat in home health are easily preventable, just by taking kind of inventory around the home to look for things that could prevent falls in the home. It seems like that's one of our major problems that we face in home health, is just preventing falls within the home.
Yeah.
I know all of our patients want to stay in home as long as they can and want to live a safe and successful life at home and not have to move anywhere else. To do that, you need to provide a safe environment for them. So it's very important.
What are some things that people could do for their loved ones? Like, let's say the adult children come to town, they're here for the holidays, and they notice that moms, when they look around, first thing that comes to my mind are scatter rugs.
Yeah,
get rid of those darn scatter rugs.
If you can, get rid of them. But of course, I know a lot of people, like my grandpa, is just, stuck. They're going to stay there.
Yeah, somebody made them maybe even, and they're not going to.
So, if they're like that, go and get some double-sided tape and make sure they're stuck firmly to the ground and they don't just slip right out from underneath them. That's very important. Another important thing to do is make sure your walkways are clear and your stairwells are clear of clutter or lamp cords that are running across them. If they have to have a lamp cord that run across there, get some tape again and tape it down across the floor so it doesn't become a tripping hazard.
Sure.
Other things you can look for is ease of access as far as the way the furniture is arranged in the home. Perhaps moving a couch or a chair or something could make access to rooms easier.
Right. Maybe take care of those cords and
of course, you always got to think of fire hazards as well, as far as the maintenance of the home. The cords, especially if they're frayed or broken, don't use them. Get it replaced. Another thing that's very important that we see a lot is the use of night lights in the hallways, in the bathroom, in the bedrooms. If our patients get up in the middle of the night, nearly all of them, to go to the bathroom at some point, it's very important that you ain't stumbling around in the dark and falling. We don't want to see that. So we encourage all of our patients to keep a nightlight in the bedroom and in the bathroom, and if there's any walkway in between it, perhaps in the kitchen as well. That's very important. But like I was saying, a lot of our patients have these falls in the home that are unnecessary, is what I call them.
They are all really preventable with a little common sense, and maybe, like you were saying initially, the older folks are maybe not thinking quite like they once did. Little memory loss. And that's where the children could really step up to the plate and help out mom or dad by doing an assessment of the home, see what they can do to make it brighter, much brighter, lighter lights, and then keeping it safe. And
that's right. Also, maintaining their medication. That's one thing that our nurses do when they come in the home. They do a kind of an inventory on what medications the patient's on, and perhaps if they're taking something that would counteract another medication, perhaps a patient has 2 or 3 doctors. We
I was
see
going
that
to say,
often.
yeah, you see that all the time, where one doctor has no idea what the other has prescribed, and those 2 drugs are not good to interact with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So when our nurse does an initial assessment on a new patient, that's one of the things they do is go over their medication list, make sure it's effective, it's what it needs to be, and if we have any questions, we'll contact the physician. All of our services are done through the physician's guidance. We don't just go out and
arbitrarily
do our own thing.
say, I don't know, I think you need this today, Mabel.
Everything is done with the person's personal physician who knows all about the patient's diagnosis or state. And so what we do is we go in and we assess what the patient needs. Perhaps they need a walker or different things like that.
Grab bars in the bathroom or the tub.
Now our physical therapist and occupational therapist will go in the home, and that's kind of their specialty. They look at make sure everything is safe as far as a physical standpoint, as far as installing grab bars in the bathroom or around the house where it needs to be. One thing we try to encourage our patients to do is get a professional to install these, or if you want to do them yourself, just make sure they're securely fastened to a stud in the wall. That way it'll hold your weight when or if you have to use them.
Right.
So we don't want to, have
a
false sense of security there.
Out comes the drywall right with the grab bar.
And sadly it happens. It happens. We've seen it before. And another thing is that like the stairwell rails, make sure those are sturdy and could hold your weight if you did trip. That's very important. But
make sure Fido's toys are put away at the end of the day.
That's right.
I've had that just with my own personal experience with the dog leaving a ball wherever he wants to, and oftentimes it's fallen on the stairs.
Your grandkids come over, and of course you got a treasure chest of toys in there, in the bedroom, and you love to see them have a good time, but just make sure they're all put away or out of the way.
Right. And these are all the adult kids could be doing all this.
Yeah,
if your kids come and play at Grandma or Grandpa's house, make sure everything is safe when you leave. So
it's a very good point.
It's a good point.
We need to just make sure when they come over, especially if they're not in the area all the time, you know your parents, you know how they are, how they act. Look for subtle differences as time goes on, and perhaps they could use a visit to the doctor and catch something before it gets worse.
Right.
And that's one of the important things we like to do. Home health is one of those areas that we're not a institution like a hospital where the patient stays there. They're in the home, but we have the connection to BRMC to where we can completely watch over the patient as if they were in the hospital at times. The patient is continually monitored by our nurses and therapists and the physician.
And you've got the in-home equipment as well. Talk about that for a minute.
We have what they call it's a telehealth system that it goes in the home. The patient gets on this daily, and they measure their weight, their blood pressure, the pulse ox, and all this information is sent to our nurses in the office, and they read this every day. So if you see say a spike in your weight, you've gained 4 pounds in 2 days. Well, with a COPD patient, that could be
water.
That could be something that needs attention now, and that's become very effective in heading off injuries or
having it become
worse.
So that they end up back in the hospital.
That's what we're trying to prevent.
Right.
So if we're able to get in there and get some medication or some treatment in there for that patient, we're able to stop it before it gets to that point. To where they're in the hospital and progressively getting worse. So that is an awesome technology that the hospital has.
I was going to say, you've got lots of tools. Absolutely wonderful tool.
Another thing that the hospital does have is the personal emergency response system, and it's through home health. And what what this is the emergency response button that the patient wears around their neck at all times, and it works in a radius around the house, about 100 yards around the house. So anywhere inside the house, in the yard, up to the mailbox, it'll work. And when they push this button, say if they fall or have a emergency, it calls a dispatcher who calls an ambulance and or a responder that you choose, say your neighbor or your son or daughter,
to come and check on you or something.
To come and make sure you're okay. And that is more of a sense of security for most of our patients than anything. And especially what we find is it's more of a sense of security for the son or daughters, because we get more calls from them than we do the patients themselves.
Wanting to know if mom or dad is okay.
So.
Okay. Well, those technologies are wonderful, Stephen. We're awful glad that Home Health, BRMC's Home Health, has all of this in place, and I want to thank you for being here today.
It's great.
Been wonderful to have you back on the show and update us and remind everyone that with the adults coming in to visit mom or dad or grandma or grandpa this time of year, check out the house, make sure it's safe for them, and do anything in your power to keep them safe so they don't end up in the hospital, and just do all you can to take preventive measures. So Stephen, thank you. Who can they call if they need more information about
Just call
Home
our
Health?
office at 508-1790.
508-1790. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you and yours, Stephen. And come on the show in the new year, okay?
All right, I'll see you next year.
All right, I'll see you next year. Take care. We'll see you again in just a little bit.